Here we go. What's up, Ashley?
Hi, Travis. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Oh, Sam's coming in.
Hi, dear. How
Hey,
are you?
Sam. I'm great. It's so nice to see you all on Zoom. Very cool.
As well.
Guys, this is Ashley. She was at your headlining show in Brooklyn. We had
I
a great time.
was. Yeah.
Nice.
So take it away.
Awesome. Do you mind if I start recording?
Go for it.
Okay, cool.
Recording in progress.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll start with that. I was at your headlining show in Brooklyn a couple weeks back, and I love the energy from like the start. So yeah, what was it like to headline Baby's Alright? Because it's such a cool venue.
Oh, we were electric when
Yeah.
we got off stage.
It was one of our favorite shows on our headline run 2 weeks ago for sure. So great energy. We did not expect to sell it out and have that many people there. So it was definitely really cool. The venue was really cool too. And anytime we can get over to Brooklyn, I think it's a good thing, you know. So it was a lot of fun.
It felt good. It felt like we planted our flag in New York. You know, it was a statement for sure. And yeah, it's definitely it's a show that we won't forget.
Absolutely, same here. I loved how you started with Jessica. That was my favorite song from you guys
There you
at
go.
first. Yeah.
We got it out of the way fast for you.
Right? But I really loved the new EP, so much. Over My Dead Body is definitely a favorite track of mine. That was the title track. But I wanted to talk about Life's to Britney, because remember that you had said something, Travis, along the lines of, it was a very conversational song, and you weren't sure whether it was good or not. And then the producer you're working with was like, if it's good, it's good, so don't sweat it.
Yeah, I think that was a song where I was trying to articulate something and I was overthinking, and the words that came out of my mouth, I even prefaced with something like this, but not this. And Andrew kind of turned around and said, why can't it be that? And really forced me to take a second look, I think, you know, at myself, even as a songwriter. And it turned out to be one of my favorite songs on the EP, right? And it's like, if it is conversational, if it is easy to remember, if it is catchy, that's what makes a great song. So kind of turning the mirror back on myself and really kind of going inside of me as a songwriter, and, you know, maybe challenging is I think what makes someone like Andrew Goldstein so great to work with.
Absolutely. Also, Over My Dead Body again. Total fave. Plastic is another one. I love how it had a more, like, I don't want to say country feel, but that's what I got from it.
Definitely does. There's a little bit of twang in there. And it's funny because that song started as a joke where I was singing it in a country accent. That's like how it started. Is as, you know, maybe we were plastic, we were pretend, like romantic movies and like it just came together so fast. And we were all laughing, and, you know, that had been after about 4 hours of us trying to write something that wasn't working. And as soon as we kind of lightened up and had fun, we walked out with a song like Plastic.
That's so awesome that it started off as a joke. Like, is that usually how you write things? So if you're just joking around about something, you're like, wait, this can be a song.
No, I think when you kind of take the pressure off, right? You walk into the studio a lot of times and you, at least for me, I want to go in there and I want to make the best song that we've ever made. And, you know, it needs to be really good. It needs to be smart. And it needs to be like amazing lyrics and a great melody. That's like a lot of pressure to put on yourself to make something that, you know, with that bar set so high in just a few hours. And so when all of that goes out the window and you can just be, I think it opens you up to be more creative and really kind of sit in the moment. And that's what we did with a song like Plastic. And it's one of our favorites on the EP for sure.
Yeah, what's your opinion on that, Nick? Go ahead.
What was the question?
About Plastic and the songwriting process, and it's one of your favorites off of the EP.
Yeah. It was a crazy experience making the song in the studio. I would say that, like, the solo part in that song was amazing, coming up with that part. It was just one of those, like, I think that was a song that came pretty organically for us that day.
Well, yeah, we were trying to write something, and I kind of just walked in like an idiot and pretended to be a cowboy.
It was awesome.
No, that is really cool. I was gonna ask you about Jessica, because remember I read something that said that you wrote it about a girl who didn't exist, and then this whole time I was like, it's about somebody real, right?
There is no Jessica. I did write about someone who didn't exist. I wrote it. I mean, obviously, I pull from prior experiences, but I feel like that song is the culmination of a lot of different things, and Jessica is the muse or the vehicle that allowed me to kind of channel that on the first record.
I think every EP or every piece of music now has to have a girl's name in it. Yeah. First it was Jessica, now this one's Brittany, and the next one
will be Ashley.
Ashley, yeah. Right?
I finally got a song. Thank you. Yeah. No, that's really cool. I also know that you guys are on the Creative Control tour with The Used and Pierce the Veil, which is so awesome. What does it feel like to tour with such legendary bands and play with them every night?
It's bucket list for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's cool when you can bring friends and family out to the shows and they're like enamored. They just can't believe it. And I think that's what's really rewarding too. Obviously, the best part of the night is going on stage and performing and meeting new people who like our music. But it's also really cool to bring friends that, grew up listening to these bands, and they get to watch from the pit, and they get, it feels like kind of rock and roll summer camp.
Yeah, these are all like bands and people we grew up idolizing as kids, at least people that came from, the type of music that we loved growing up and listened to as young people, whether it's the Avrils or, The Used for sure, right? Like, remember watching their Maybe Memories DVD in 2004, whenever that came out, 2002. And now the fact that we just get to be a part of these people's worlds now 20 years later is just really cool. It's just kind of like a at the right time, right place kind of a thing, but definitely as a kid, I never would have thought we'd be playing shows with Avril Lavigne and The Used and Pierce the Veil and all these awesome shows and being a part of what's going on.
That's really awesome. It took me back with the 2004 reference. I was like, no, I remember that DVD.
Yeah. How could you forget it?
Yeah, and MTV, and I remember I really got into them after the Bird and the Worm video. I used to watch that, on the loop all the time.
I know. I was talking to Bert the other day, telling him about this one interview that he did in 2005, and I was referencing it. And I'm like, oh, wait, am I sharing too much? Am I revealing my thoughts? Should I play it cool?
I would be the same way as you, so I totally get it. Speaking of tours, you guys were on tour with Avril Lavigne in Europe, which is, again, really awesome. What's the best memory from that whole experience that you guys have?
Playing Blink-182 covers with her every single night on stage in front of 15,000 people.
Yeah, hands down. Like the fact that we got to play one of our favorite bands we grew up listening to with, Avril Lavigne, who's so iconic in herself of what she's been able to do. Both of those combinations kind of coming together was really cool.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about what the differences between the first EP and this one, just because I feel like the first one, it's your self-titled one, it's more focused on mental health, whereas this one seems a little more fun. So
definitely, yeah. I think with this EP that we just put out, we didn't even know we were making one. We kind of went in, and the first song that we made with Andrew Goldstein was Talk, and we were like, this is really good. We went in the second day, we made Over My Dead Body, and so we're like, we should just keep making more songs. And by the time we looked up, we had an EP, and it wasn't like we wrote 20 songs and put 5 out. I think we started 7 ideas, and 5 of them are on the EP. So we didn't kind of chase anything that wasn't working. And yeah, like I said, it was really intentional, and I think we kind of flexed a new muscle for us in terms of, being a band and as songwriters and musicians. And there's obviously, I feel like different kind of textures sonically throughout the EP, which we haven't really gotten to explore before. So it's fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, lots of new muscles being flexed, lots of new things you guys are entering. I think it's so cool because, to me, you guys are a new band. So,
We definitely feel the same way.
Mm.
We put out a lot of music in the short time we've been together, and now we get to kind of reward ourselves with the touring aspect of it all. But yeah, we're a baby band still. I say that on stage every single night, and so the fact that we could be touring with these, legendary artists, people that we grew up listening to, it's surreal at times.
absolutely. Something else that I love about your band is that, especially you, Travis, you're so open about mental health and just wanting to make people more aware of how prevalent it is and how you could sort of help somebody else through their own struggles, which is really cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's, growing up, I feel like when I was a teenager and kind of really at the height of my struggle, it wasn't something that was necessarily talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that I had to hide for a long time. And I think now, the beauty about this is we can have these conversations and this open dialogue. And if we can use our band and our platform to help other people connect and feel seen and heard, that's a given. That's a beautiful thing. And I feel like that's a huge reason why we started Girlfriends in the first place.
Yeah, sure. It makes people feel less alone and that, they're not just facing something on their own.
I know that when I was, growing up, and I turned to my favorite bands and my favorite records when I was going through stuff. So the fact that we could be that for somebody now is full circle for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the dream, right?
We're living it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I have to also ask you about Help, I'm in a Secret Relationship, just because, one, I love that show.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. Two, I think it's so different from what you're doing with the band now. How do you juggle like 3 things at once, like with the band, that show, and then your radio show?
I think the reason why Nick and I make such a good team, and the reason why we even wanted to start something together in the first place, is we're both really good at kind of juggling,
Mm-hmm.
But all of this stems from music. Like everything Nick does outside of the band has stemmed from him being a musician. Everything that I do has stemmed from music. And at the end of the day, in regards to the show, I'm kind of traveling around talking to people about personal issues, which I do a lot on stage and off stage. And, my relationship with MTV came about through me being a musician. So I don't know. It's kind of second nature in a way. It's like I just go and have conversations with people, which we do every single day on tour. We do every single day on interviews with people like yourself. And I think the main word there is like connection.
Yeah, it does help people connect to each other, especially with the relationship show, I feel like, because even if your relationship isn't like a hot mess, like it sometimes is on the show, you could definitely just see yourself in that and say, oh, I could see these people work through XYZ issue. We could probably do the same thing in our relationship if we're going through something similar.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So thank you for talking to me. This was so much fun.
Oh, you are the best. Your computer's blowing up.
Yeah.
Ashley is the best. I love her.
Oh, thank you. I love you too, Sam.
Have you been able to come to any of the shows? Besides the Baby's Alright, did you get to go to Pier 17 or anything?
Yeah, I went, actually saw Sam there Tuesday, last week?
Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, anytime we're back on the East Coast, you gotta come by.
Oh, I definitely will. Like, I love your whole set. I'm so into it. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate you coming to our first headlining show too. That was it was definitely a bucket list cross off as well.
Oh no, you're welcome. I'm always happy to support. I love Baby's Alright. I love the intimacy of the venue, and I've seen so many great bands play there. So you're in the same class as them, as far as I'm concerned.
I really appreciate it. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. We appreciate
Thank you,
talking
Ashley.
to us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for giving me the time.
Of course.
Talk to you soon.
Guys, I'll see you in 10. Take a break
Okay.
and
All right, y'all. Have a good day.